It's Life Reimagined Live. I am Lisa B, and I'm one of the co founders for Life Reimagined, and I'm so excited that you are here. Tonight, we have a very powerhouse 15 minutes with someone who's not just brilliant with what she teaches, but she actually lives it, which is super amazing. Andrea B is one of the most inspiring people that I know. She's a Princeton and Columbia graduate, a total wellness powerhouse, a compassionate leader in yoga, breath work, and nutritional healing. She's helped transform so many lives, including mine. And I had the honor of joining her on two life changing retreats so far. The first one was Belize in December of 2024. And then just last month in June, I got to go to Costa Rica. And let me just say, Andrea doesn't just lead retreats, she curates like a soul shifting experience. So I highly recommend them. If you ever get the opportunity to definitely join her on one of these epic retreats. So her session at our Life Reimagined retreats are also very unforgettable. She creates calm, clarity, and connection like nobody else on our team, which just adds that extra dimension. So tonight, Andrea will be guiding us through balance starts within, align your energy, purpose, and time. She'll help us explore true success isn't about doing more, but it's about aligning our energy, protecting what matters, and making space for what lights us up. So you're in for something special. So let's welcome Andrea B.
Gosh, thank you, Lisa. Amazing intro. It really makes me feel like, wow, that's so cool. So thank you. Uh, I wanted to kind of just start by saying thank you for setting this up and to kind of address the title of the topic, because the first word in that title is balance, and in some ways I think that's pretty misleading, because balance is elusive. As professionals, entrepreneurs, or just people with really full lives, we are always told we need to give equal attention to everything: our social lives, our work, our families, our relationships, our pets, our chores, our home, even our hobbies. Like, we're supposed to have this equal attention to everything. And not just attention, but also kind of this equal success. So everything's supposed to go really well. And that's ta-da when we have this balanced life. And in reality, it sounds great. It would be cool. It's something cool to strive for, but it's not realistic. Um, we can't have equality in all these things and feel good in the process. And when we pursue equality or balance in all of these things, we end up feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes we feel like we're not good enough, and sometimes we just get frustrated and give up on all or some of it, and feel like we're failing. But what I really want to think about is not balance, but focus on the idea in the name of the webinar, the idea of alignment. And that's something that really is possible. It's powerful as well. Alignment isn't about doing everything all at once at the same time successfully and equally. It's about giving focus where it's needed at the right time. So sometimes alignment will be focused on your business. You might be starting a new endeavor. You might be working towards a promotion. You might have just a really busy season. Say you're an accountant and you have a busy tax season. Then business is going to take more priority. It's not going to have a balance with your life. There's going to be other times where your health might take priority. There might be other times where relationships take priority. But what alignment means is that you're always able to shift as life shifts, and life inevitably shifts. So, what alignment really allows us to do is pay attention to our own personal rhythms. And that's what I wanted to focus on today, is this idea of energy and rhythms, because that's how we as humans are built to function. We're not like a machine, like a car that needs its tires balanced per se. And we're not designed to work like on this set schedule, 8 to 5. And many of us, 8 to 5 is a dream, right? We end up working 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. or sometimes 24/7 for weeks at a time, months at a time, even years at a time. And what that does is it leads us to burnout. And that's something that unfortunately happens. And then we're not able to give our best selves to any of the elements in our lives, any of the dimensions. And so when we talk about alignment, we can be a little bit more realistic in managing our energy. Um, when we talk about focusing energy or focusing time, it's instead of like managing your day and saying, okay, from 8 to 9 I'm going to do this, 9 to 10 I'm going to do this, 10 to 11 I'm going to do this. Yeah, we could fit all these things in our schedule, in our calendar. But instead of thinking about time, which is a finite thing, there's only 24 hours in a day, think about managing your energy and how can you make your energy in each of those moments more productive so that eventually you do live your best life, achieve your goals, and whether those entrepreneurial, whether they're life goals, whether they're just wellness and health and overall well-being. um, so when we talk about managing rhythm, energy, think instead of time blocks, think of managing your life in the sense of waves, and your day in the sense of waves. um, Another way to look at it would be kind of how an athlete trains. An athlete doesn't go hard every day, all day, every season of the year. They work in this periodized schedule. So they have periods of rest, then they have periods of peak energy and peak performance, and then they have recovery. People always talk about the off season, the on season. We as individuals can kind of take from that some guidance in optimizing our growth. Athletes grow when they periodize their workouts and don't go hard all the time. People can grow if we periodize our days so that we're working in these waves of energy that include rest. They include peak work. They include some point of recovery. So if you're like, what does that look like, right? Um, you might think of your day as kind of starting with, to keep the athletic image going, the idea of a warm up in the morning. So you start in the morning with a warm up. And I'm not saying that you get out of bed and start doing jumping jacks, it's a warm up to your day. There's a trend right now, and I've been trying to do it. I haven't been 100%, but not picking up your phone and actually scrolling, looking at the headlines, looking at what emails were, replied to or texts were replied to, giving yourself 30 to 60 minutes to not do that, to actually have a presence practice of some sort. And a presence practice can often look like meditation. It can look like breath work. If those are things that appeal to you, it can look like yoga, but it doesn't have to. It might look like going outside. It might look like taking care of your pets. It might look like just savoring your cup of coffee in the morning, maybe journaling. It's something that even just for 10 or 15 minutes, that's entirely for you to set the stage for the day rather than running in and immediately, putting out fires and those kind of things. And then of course you get ready or do whatever your morning deal is. And then you set aside about 90 minutes for your peak tasks for the day. And usually doing those first thing, do two things. One, first thing, you tend to be freshest and most ready to tackle them. But secondly, they also, you get them off your plate, they're done for the day, and you're like, even if nothing else, even if everything else falls apart, hey, I got those things done. And then after like that 90 minutes, you then take a break. You take a 20-minute refresh or recovery. And it doesn't have to look like a nap. It's not like you get up and then an hour later go take a nap. It could. I mean, if you're underslept, you might need one. But it could look like, again, meditation, breath work, but it again doesn't have to look like that. It might be, if you work in an office, going and talking to a colleague about something that's not work related. It might be calling a partner. It might be texting friends. It might be going outside for a walk. I like something called exercise snacks. You might like run up and down the stairs in your building just to kind of get your blood flow and to get your mind off of the hard, meaty stuff you were working on. Then after that 15, 20 minutes, go into something else that's kind of hard and meaty. You're especially attuned as humans. We're especially good at creative tasks, the tough decisions, all those kind of things first thing in your day rather than leaving it to after lunch and in the afternoon. So really setting up your morning like that in those 90-minute increments and giving yourself, the 15, 20 minutes between them. And you'll notice that each time you come back, you're refreshed and more focused and more able to tackle them. Then after that whole morning session, you have a midday break. And I'm guilty of this, eating lunch at the computer, working through lunch, or jamming that mid-time break with chores, doctor's appointments, all those kind of things. But really that undermines our energy for the day because we're just going, 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 going. Instead, if you can, I know not everybody has the luxury, but if you have the ability to take even 20, 30 minutes to just sit and savor your lunch or and if you don't eat at lunch, maybe it's a drink, maybe it's taking a break, maybe it's, if you exercise, a nice walk or workout break at lunchtime. So you have that midday kind of rest. it's really valuable. And then you can come back into, 90-minute cycles in the evening. And those might be more monotonous, more mundane tasks, filing. If you're doing housework, it could be folding clothes. It might be, computer tasks, things that don't require as much creative thought. And then in the evening, having some kind of evening wind down, so that when you're managing your energy, it might be like a cup of tea and a bath, or maybe you enjoy reading, or there's a show you like. There's some kind of ritual to the evening, so that you have your peak energy and then you slowly wind down, rather than peaking up and then falling off into sleep and then doing it again the next day. Just these high peaks, thinking of it again as these waves of energy. And what you'll begin to notice at first, and I know it happens to me too, is I'm like, oh, this 20 minutes, I could be getting so much done in this 20 minutes. I'm wasting time. But again, if you think of, again, the athlete analogy, you work hard, and that's important to growth of whether it's muscles or cardiovascular capacity. But the rest is when your body does the work to make you stronger and grow to be a better, whether it's a bodybuilder or a runner, or I don't know what other athlete, soccer player out there. It's the rest that's when the real work happens. And it's going to be the same for your energetic cycles. You'll start to notice that in those periods of work, you're more efficient, you're better able to make decisions. You don't like have 22 tabs open and you're going between them because you're like, your mind is all over the place. You are more focused. And in the long run, soon as you start to make this as part of your way of being, you're more effective in in that time. So again, you're not doing more. Remember, growth and change and productivity isn't necessarily checking everything off your to-do list. It's checking the important things off and doing them in a quality way. We think busy equates with growth and change and worth, but it's really what can you focus on and how can you manage those rhythms. That's important.
Oh, that's so good. And that's one of my biggest struggles is rest, right? And that is when they say your body will build and you recover and you need that rest period. So having that alignment and the energy, I've never really thought of time blocking in terms of energy. It's very fascinating, interesting, and yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes back to, just because you can put a meeting on your schedule at 8 and 8:30 and 9 and 9:30 and 10 and 10:30, just because you can do it and you can like technically be present at those, it doesn't mean you can be present and truly effective at them. You might have the FaceTime, you might be showing up, but are you really getting out of it what you want, or giving to it what you want? So it's just something to think about.
Oh, that's good. So I've got a couple questions for you. So for those of us, including myself, that feel stretched thin, where's the best place to start when we feel out of alignment? What do you recommend?
I think it's taking the pause, because when we're stretched thin, I know personally it happens to me too. My anxiety starts to build because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. And so I feel like I am accomplishing things by doing more and doing and doing and doing and doing. But really, in the times where I can have the clarity and step back, I can be like, you know what? All these things that I think I need to do, are they really that important? No, probably about three of them are important, and the other things can wait. They don't have to be done today. They don't have to be done next week. They will eventually get done, or maybe they never get done, or maybe I ask someone else to help me with those things. So the pause gives you the power to really weigh what's the most important tasks, instead of feeling like you have to do it all. So a pause might be, I know for me, when I start to have that like anxiety swirl going on, I like set a timer and sit for 5 minutes, and I do a forced meditation and just sit. It might be writing all of the tasks down. Not everybody finds value in meditation. So it might be writing all the tasks down and then noticing, hey, some of these are really kind of silly or mundane or not that critical to my goals or my outcome. So taking a pause, that's what I would say.
Okay, no, I like it, and it's so funny. Whenever I hear the word pause, I always think of in the speaking world, right? As a professional speaker, they always talk about the power of the pause, and there is so much to pausing, just in general, and like what you just said. So that's good. I like that. What's one boundary you've personally had to reinforce recently to protect your own energy?
I think for me, one of the places where I have a full-time job, and I am very much okay, I want to do that job well, and I want to show up when, even when it's possibly not expected. And so I think one of the boundaries I have to personally set for myself, I don't have to tell other people, because it's truly my own expectation that I'll be there for these events, or these meetings, or these classes. It's perfectly fine if I'm not. So it's reminding myself to set the boundary and be like, it's okay. Things are not going to fall apart if I'm not there. And so it's just simply reminding myself that it's okay not to do everything all at once.
That's good. I like that. I like that. I may have to incorporate that. Um, how do you personally recalibrate when you catch yourself overdoing or overscheduling?
I personally, it's a good question, because I know recently I was feeling that way. I had a lot of events, and I started noticing the little signs, the little tiny signs, like I was snapping at people. I was getting frustrated at things that really
Mm.
didn't matter. And that's when I'm like, oh, something, like there's too much going on, and I need to back away. And one of the ways I do that is to just take time for myself, instead of going to a social engagement, or going to something that I feel like I kind of should go to, but it's not critical to, my health or something like that. I said, wait, and just take time for myself. I have a horrible confession, and you probably are all gonna lose like all respect for me. But like, I love trash TV, and I ended up going to bed at like 6:30 p.m. and watching the latest season of Love Island for a long time. And you know what? The next day, I felt great, because I didn't do anything that required like hard thought. I know it's a terrible confession, but I bet some of you guys watch Love Island.
Yeah,
And
feel
if
free
you
to call
don't, you probably are now. So it's okay.
that. What is it called?
Oh, I don't want to say it again. I can't admit that a million times.
You can find it in the transcript, or we'll post it in the comments. I'm just kidding. Let's see. What's one small shift someone could make tonight to start feeling more grounded?
I think starting in some way, and tonight, an evening ritual of some sort. And when I say that, it doesn't have to be this long drawn out at, at 6 p.m. I remake my bed. At 6:15, I have a cup of tea. It might be just one thing that helps you feel um, supported in your own self. It could be calling a friend. It could be journaling and writing down the three things of the day that you are grateful for, and doing that again and again every evening. And they can be the most mundane things. You could be grateful for the perfect juicy blueberry you had at breakfast. It could be the smell of lilacs when you were walking down the path. Um, or it could be something as simple as, hey, every evening I'm going to take a warm bath, something that you can start to put into practice now, that's a regular ritual for you. But also give yourself grace with that. So today, day one is your ritual, whether it's your gratitude practice, whether it's your cup of tea, whether it's your bath. And tomorrow you miss it, it's okay. The next day you can pick it back up. It's going to take time to become like a permanent ritual, but I think the more that you reinforce it, the more valuable it can become. And it's okay if you pick one tonight and you're like, "Mm, that one's not really resonating with me. Try something else." It doesn't have to be perfect today, but starting to seek that out, I think, is valuable.
I like that. And you're kind of going into, and I've heard you say this, I believe in other, either, I don't know if it was retreat sessions, but just giving yourself permission, right? To have that freedom to change or do whatever. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And freedom to fail, freedom to, and when I say fail, it might be like to try something, to think you like it, and then realize, oh, I don't. That really doesn't nurture me, and find something else. And it might be something like trash TV. That's okay. I remember I was leading a yoga teacher training, and we would talk about creating a meditation practice, and things that you should avoid, like trash TV and things like that, not from a perspective of they're inherently bad, but what you're feeding yourself, and how you are building your mental capacity, your physical capacity. You should eat whole healthy foods, all those kind of things. And there was one participant, and she was just devastated every time she would come. She's like, I left teacher training last night and I had toast with cheese and I watched Desperate Housewives. I've failed. And like, she was so hard on herself because she felt like she wasn't living up to what was expected.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm like, if something that's expected isn't resonating with you, it's okay. If every, like famous longevity expert says you should take magnesium before bed, but you forget every night, take it in the morning. It's okay. Like, the world is not going to crumble down and end.
I like that. Let's see. Oh, okay. Last question. I know you teach quite a bit around emotional resilience. How does that tie into energy alignment?
I think emotional resilience. And, my mom actually just posted this question to me. She's like, I've been reading a lot about resilience, and you might know it's a big buzzword. And she asked me, I was just there last weekend, and she's like, what is resilience? And, it's hard to give it a one word, give a single word definition for a big concept. And resilience really is that ability to take for lack of a better word, hits, or take those difficult moments and move through. It doesn't mean they don't hurt you. It doesn't mean that you aren't potentially knocked down a little bit or saddened, but they don't define the rest of your life. They may be there. They're like a little speed bump, and you may have a little rockiness afterwards, or they may influence you in the long run, but you're able to persevere regardless. And it was really a moment where she asked, do I have resilience? And at first I was like, stumped by the question, and I realized I can't answer that for her.
Mhm.
That's something you have to find within, and recognize whether or not you have it. So when you're talking about energy management and resilience, the energy management will definitely affect your emotional resilience from the perspective of, you're going to be working smarter, you're going to feel more in control of your day and your schedule, more in control of your tasks, more productive when you're doing your tasks. And therefore, that's going to help you bounce back when something isn't going your way, or something, dare I say, tragic happens, or something doesn't, you don't make the contract you were trying to sell, or something like that. It makes those little problems feel less huge, and just as something else that happened, so that you can continue to move forward and learn from what you need to learn.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And like, I know if people want to connect with you more or learn more about your amazing retreats that are all over, they can go to, is it Andrea B yoga and wellness.com? Yes.
Absolutely. And I do have Belize coming up in December. So anyone who wants to come join that would be amazing. You can also follow me at Andrea B Yoga and Wellness on Instagram too.
Very cool. And then if you want to connect more with both of us, you can actually see us live and in person and come join us on our amazing retreat happening October 17th and 18th. It's Life Reimagined. It's Rise and Reset. It's a retreat geared towards service-based professionals, entrepreneurs. I mean, I believe our retreats are, I mean, they're set for anybody. As we've been building out the agenda and everything that's coming together, there's myself, Andrea B, and Ken Lewis. He's also super amazing. You're going to see him on some future webinars and lives. And he's a Grant Cardone 10X, John C. Maxwell Leadership, just amazing guy, speaks. I know him from the speaking world, but super. We have a great team. And so I'd love for you to come join us. And if you're stuck anywhere or need clarity on goals, or you want to finish out quarter 4 in a powerful way, because we're already halfway through the year, which I cannot believe we're already in the next half. So our retreat takes place in October, and our goal is to help you finish 2025 strong and start 2026 just in an amazing way. So I invite you to come join us. The website, if you want more information, is f2x.co. And Andrea, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I was just going to say, at that retreat, we'll really dive into some tools and techniques you can use with the energy management to kind of align all the elements of your well being, all the dimensions, whether that's physical, emotional, social, spiritual, environmental, intellectual, how you can really come together to feel like you're living your best life and achieving your goals.
Yeah, and that's super exciting because that gives us that whole balanced part. Ken is going to be able to help you build an amazing offer to help you reach those goals. So whatever that is in your business, we're going to help you put it all together. And then I'm going to be working with you with habit stacking, accountability, getting that 90-day momentum, and putting a plan together. So it's going to be super exciting. I'm very excited. Our retreats keep getting better and better each time. And so we invite you to come to our Life Reimagined Rise and Reset in October. So we hope to see you there. Thank you, Andrea, for taking time to jump on.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.